All right. Hello, everyone. It's Nancy Rebecca again, and I am coming on live on YouTube with Sylvia today, and I'll be introducing her in just a minute. She is one of my Psychic Mastery 1 students. She's been a student since November, so that was in 2023. She will be talking about, I almost didn't join, but I'm glad that I did. So, I just wanted to do a little reminder. If some of you are popping on for the first time, my name is Nancy Rebecca. I am a registered nurse. I have cultivated my intuitive abilities over the last 30 years. And then I began around 2020, 2023, somewhere around there. Really, someone just asked me one day, can you teach me to do what you do? And I was like, well, I'm not quite sure. Let me try. And so I just really sat with it and created these programs. And now we have 3 one-year programs, virtual programs. And the first one is Psychic Mastery 1. So Sylvia calls in, is coming in from Vancouver, Canada, in Comox. So she is one of the Canadian students. We have a real international flair, but I would love, Sylvia, if you would just introduce a little bit about yourself. And you have been in the program, and let's just address right away when you said, a friend recommended it. I almost didn't join, and I'm glad I did. So.
Hi,
Hi.
my name is Sylvia, and I'm semi-retired, mother of 3, and I moved to Vancouver Island 5 years ago just to be around nature, and I have not looked back. Um, I get to work part-time, and it's a time in my life that it's for me. Now is for me. You know, I did most of my life for everybody else. Now it's for me. So a client actually, we got talking and she recommended Nancy's program. She said, I've taken Nancy's program. You're going to really enjoy this. So I
And
just
so what
started
made her think that you would enjoy it? Like that
because,
she would mention it?
okay, so it's an interesting story because I work as a hairstylist. And the first question I asked her was, how did you find me? And she goes, oh, I do picture readings. I said, what? What is that? And she just explained that she can look at a picture and pick up intuitively what's going on. So that's how she found me. And the conversation started.
Wow.
She was a coach. She did your program, and it just really helped her in her coaching program and her everyday life. So I started watching you on YouTube. And I've always loved, I've just been attracted to this work. And I mean, this goes way back. This goes back to the late 70s. One of the girls at work was going to go see a psychic. And she came back with everything. And I convinced my dad to drive me out to this psychic's place.
And so
And
how
I mean,
old were you at that time?
I was 17. And I was brought up in a home where my mom was very Christian and my dad wasn't. He would attend the weddings, the funerals, and play along, but that's the way it was. So anyway, I convinced him, let's go to a psychic. And we drive way across the city on the other end of town, and lo and behold, we get there and bump into one of his friends,
Oh my
which
gosh.
was like, what are you doing here? I
He
mean,
thought
this
he
is
would go in and just be
yeah.
incognito.
And this is, a house. She was doing psychic readings in a house. And I got the reading done and I wrote notes down and, okay. And at the time, my sister was pregnant and the psychic told me it was going to be a baby boy and he was going to come early. And then a month later, my sister had a girl. And, everybody said, oh, and, that's all hogwash, Sylvia, nothing. But then shortly after that, she became pregnant and miscarried a baby boy. And then these
Oh,
things started happening. So,
yeah.
which was, I went through my notes and I went, oh, right. So I've just always been attracted to the mysteries of the world. And I mean,
Mhm.
back in the day, you'd almost have to go to the very back of the bookstore on the last shelf
Exactly. The dark
just
alleys
I know.
with your cap on, your dark sunglasses.
So I've just been attracted to it, read about it, and then when I heard about your program, I thought, okay, there's so many programs on there, but they're like 4-day programs, and you're going to be an intuitive, or you're going to know that. One of the reasons I really like your program is, first of all, I can do it at my own pace,
Mhm.
which is really, really important.
Mhm.
And they're all recorded. So I can go back and look at what was being discussed. And then I just thought, this is my Christmas present. So I signed up in November.
So when you first listened about it and you maybe had some hesitation, what were your hesitations? What were your objections for yourself?
Um, what were some objections? It's like I wanted something I could work with. I wanted something that I could talk to other people going through this,
Mhm.
rather than just one speaker up there, saying something, that's the lesson, or, the next 3 days, this is all the information. And then a month later, I'm lost again.
Yeah.
So this is sort of week by week. And anytime and it's work. I'm not saying it's not work, working on your meditations, and I jump around a lot, but it's work. It's a switch in your life.
Yeah.
Um, just to sit quietly and be with yourself and be with your spirit. Nobody ever taught me that before.
Yeah. Yeah.
It was out there. It wasn't in me. And so
So
that's what I'm
you had taken other workshops, but so w- so it was like, okay, that worked for a while, but didn't give me the longevity of remembering and embodying it. So then was it the year-long program? Was that intimidating to you?
um no, no. I wanted
Really?
something more than a week program, or I wanted something more than 3 days. I was in a coaching program before, and you had to sign up for a year. And the reason you had to sign up for a year is, my coach said, it takes a year for you to switch your life.
Mhm.
It's not going to happen overnight. And
Right.
it's true.
Yeah.
You can read a book and it's great. And I'm in that space for maybe a week or two. And then, life gets busy, and, you're zooming off to another area. So I
Yeah.
like the weekly repetition of it. It keeps
Mhm.
me on track.
Mhm. So did you find, because it is a switch from a physical perspective to a spiritual perspective.
Mm,
And sometimes the examples I'll give is like a nurse, it's like, all right, if the patient's not doing well at the hospital, I'm going to grab the blood pressure cuff right off the bat, where now I would still grab a blood pressure cuff, but I might also kind of ground myself and be a more grounding presence for my patient. And in this spiritual program, you're shifting. Have you noticed, since you've been in November, your outlook on life and what you do, or as the hairdresser seeing clients, are you starting to notice that you're looking at things from a different perspective than you may have a year ago?
absolutely. I work with people's chakras all the time. But grounding, grounding is so important. Um, and it's just it's solid. Like sometimes I walk into a very busy atmosphere and the energy's chaotic. And I mean, I can just spend a couple of minutes just sitting quietly and
Yeah.
grounding.
Yeah.
And yeah, and then things calm down. I've noticed things calm down.
So, how long does it take you to think about grounding now? Because sometimes it's like, oh, the after effect is aftermath. It's like, oh gosh, I should have grounded. But do you feel like you've gotten pretty good about grabbing hold of that grounding and just
Yes,
stopping? Have you gotten much better at that?
yes, yes.
Yeah.
Very, very much so. And another thing that I really like about the program is you broke us up into little groups.
Yeah.
So we meet once a week and we have started grounding in our group, right?
Oh,
And
wonderful.
yeah, and if I can't sleep, I just ground, right?
Nice.
Just calm down and ground. And we live in a very chaotic, hectic world.
Yes, we do.
So, um, you know, I can even ground in my car now. And
Nice.
I know it sounds, oh, but that tube is I'm connected. I feel it.
Yes, yes. Well, one of the things that we talked about uh, that what I've noticed, so I was mentioning to Sylvia before we just came on live that since COVID, um, there's a sense about my own nature that's a little bit naive. I give everyone the benefit of the doubt. And then we had COVID, and then all heck broke loose. And then some of our, at least here in the United States, I don't know about Canada, but our system started breaking down. And then it was like, oh, the masks were coming off. And after a while, I found myself saying, wow, can I trust anyone anymore? And so what I found was I was so glad that I had my intuition because I could kind of let my intuition guide me more than I had before. And what did you mentioned something similar that you wanted to have your own voice, that became very important to you.
There was just so much fear and confusion and the anti-vaxxers and, oh, get your next shot. My son actually got very sick from the vax.
Mhm.
And, I just had to sit with myself.
Yeah,
I mean, it was fear. It was
yeah,
full-blown fear. And just go, you know what? This is going to be all right. I am healthy. This is okay. And maybe it was, just in hindsight about it, maybe it was all of us supposed to just sit quiet and get into ourselves. Maybe
yes,
it was just the planet going, shut
yes.
her down, quiet down, people. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, and I think that you bring up a really good example of like the vaccine, because the world was so divided on that. And I know my father is an certified in infectious disease, and he has studied global pandemics, but there was that like, what is right for me,
Yeah,
and really getting tuned in rather than just, I'm not doing it because everybody says don't do it, or I'm doing it because everybody says do it. But you got to go quiet inside. I know what's right for me, and each of my children know what's right for them. And did you find that you could respect everybody's
yeah,
decisions?
yeah, yeah,
Yeah, because
yeah,
you can learn to be what's right
yeah.
for you.
And I wasn't afraid of the people who didn't have vaccines. You know what? I just carried on.
Yeah.
But I noticed that in today's world with me, like just the news, or they say this or what's going on, and I just now can ground. And is
Yes.
this affecting me?
Yeah.
What am I going to do with this information?
Yeah.
And I just get clearer. And the
Nice.
other thing about grounding is I have a tendency to get anxious or
Okay.
depressed, right?
Okay.
And I had no place to put that.
Mm.
And when I could ground and I can let it go, it does leave my body. So thank you for just teaching me that, because that tool alone, like where is this coming from? And does it belong here? Nope, let it go, let it go. Yeah.
So does your family know that you are a part of this group? And if yes or no,
Yes,
either answers.
yes, my daughters know. My daughters know.
And then have they noticed a difference? Because we were talking about this before coming on live, and I remember I was kind of keeping it secret, 30 years ago, but people would say, I don't know what's going on with you, but you're looking brighter, whatever you want. I want some of that. But it didn't always feel comfortable to share, but people could literally see the difference in me. Has your family noticed anything,
I don't know if they've noticed anything. Um,
or how
I
you
d
relate to them?
um, I think I'm just calmer and I
Mm.
just let them be,
That's exactly,
you
yeah.
know,
It's an easier time letting you be you and
and them
I'll be
be them.
me. And
And as a mother of 3 and they're adult children, so I only, give them my thoughts or my opinion when they ask.
nice,
And
nice. Yeah.
that has calmed everything down. It's your life.
Mhm,
You'll figure it out.
mhm.
And my older daughter is very much into like, what do you do? And I go, I'm just grounded. I'm just meditating. She goes, oh, I'm so sorry to wake
Oh,
you.
how sweet,
you know,
how sweet.
yeah,
So about the program, so it starts off with grounding, and it starts with building a strong energetic foundation and communicating more with your body. And I always say taking our our human self along on the ride with us. And then you get the second module and it adds a little bit more. And then the third, like being in the center of your head and being more neutral, maybe de energizing memories. I don't know if you've gotten to that,
oh,
Sylvia.
I did. I degenerized a memory. It was lovely. It was lovely. Um,
And so, what would you say is your favorite technique so far, besides grounding? We know that you like that.
clearing my head.
The
And
head channel.
yeah, I just jumped ahead and did that, and I've probably done that once a week, and
Wow.
I just feel it gets me clearer. I don't know why. It's just one of my favorite.
Yeah. I do remember when Yvonne started that one, and she said, I've lived my life for everybody else, but as she
Yeah,
did that head channel clearing, it
yeah,
became clear about how she wanted to live her life for
yeah,
herself.
yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. So, so I'll go back to, you said I almost didn't join. So what was your hesitation?
Um, I thought it was just going to be another human being on a screen telling me what to do.
Okay.
Okay. And if
Yeah.
you do this, this, and this, and this, you know, where I really like sort of the coaching. I love Ask Me Anything Mondays. I've always worked well in groups,
Mm,
so I can sit and listen to that. Um, and just hearing the experience from the other people,
yes.
that's where I learn a lot
Hmm.
rather than, I mean, rather than someone just up there saying, do this, do this, do this. It's more of an experience learning and
Yeah.
it is growth work.
Yes, it
And
is growth work and
you
healing.
can do it at your own pace.
Yeah.
Like you know, I heard something about clearing out my head and I thought, I need that. And I jumped ahead to module 10. And right? And it's like, it's okay, you can do that, and then
It's
go back
okay.
and
You're
catch
not going to
up.
get in trouble
I know.
because you're an adult, right? You
Yeah,
get to
yeah,
work at it at your own pace. And that's the other thing that I really value, that I always like to share with people, that it's really important that you learn to get your own information, you
yes,
know. You
yes,
start trusting your own information. You're given the tools on how to do that, but it doesn't come always overnight.
no,
Yeah.
no. And we're in information overload era.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
mean, all this information is available to us, but just by, by watching something, like I can ask myself, like, what's true for me about
Mm.
that?
Mhm.
You
Mhm.
know? And that is become a very good tool because there's information everywhere.
Yes.
We're bombarded by it,
Yeah.
which is good, right? Which is great.
Yeah.
But I would almost get like bogged down by all this information. Now I could go, no, I choose
Yeah.
not to believe that, or I choose to open that door and discover that.
Yeah. Yeah. So what is your intuitive style? I'm curious. Because remember the last 4 days I've been talking about feeling or hearing or seeing or knowing, and maybe what your intuitive style was when you first started, and has that changed or morphed into something more?
Well, I thought my intuitive style was seeing because my imagination, and I love art and I love colors, and um, but I've had a few drops of
Mm.
just knowing, and it happened at work, and I was doing someone's hair, and my next guest arrived, and I glanced at her, and I just something told me her husband died.
Oh,
And
wow.
I didn't say anything, right? And halfway through the appointment, yeah,
Wow.
so I don't know where that came from. I just knew it. So I think I think it's a combination.
Yeah, it is a combination. And we are all intuitive. It is a birthright. We're all born with it, but it can be covered up. And as you are in the flow, I call it meditation, but it's where we run our energy, and you're able to just shed layers and layers
Yes.
and layers. And then I always say you don't change. And you can speak to this, but I often say you don't really change, you become. uh, you're not becoming a different person. You just, maybe you were covered up with just a lot of layers of old old energy.
Old energy or just old beliefs.
Yeah.
I used to be able to talk to animals when I was a kid until I was told they don't talk to you, right?
Oh.
But I would feel them. I would
Yeah.
feel them. And then, we go to school and we're so practiced the mind, the mind, the mind.
Yes.
So we just kind of lose that. And it is uncovering, just it's like cleaning it. It's that's probably why I like the head cleaning,
Yeah.
because there are other areas that I haven't practiced, and this just gives me the opportunity to go, oh, I wasn't even aware that that was buried a long time ago.
Yeah.
And we all do have intuition.
We all do. And that's what I say. Like, often it's just like no one's giving you permission, to,
Yeah, yeah,
it's like, or told you it was doable.
yeah.
And so that's the thing. Like, we have our Mentoring Monday calls, we have our conference calls. You do have your small groups. I do want to let people know who are introverts. And it sounds like Sylvia loves being in groups, but if you don't want to be in it, you get to have the option.
Yes.
It is provided, that option, and you can opt to work on your own, or you can opt to get into a group. And so, have you felt that the program really supports you on any level? Whatever you need, you're going to be able to find the support, or have opportunities to ask questions?
Yes. Yes. Like I said, they ask me anything. Mondays, I learn so much from myself asking questions. I'm up there, my hands raised, and or just listening to other people's experience
Exactly.
and them asking questions. Um, and I've worked in groups before, and sometimes I was too afraid to speak up, but then it would come out in the circle, and I go, "Whoa, you're going through the same
Yes,
thing."
I love
And
that.
yeah, and yeah,
So let me ask you, as we are just wrapping up, if there's anything else that you would like to say to those people who are really sitting on the fence, or they're like, oh, I'll wait around till it comes around next year? Or is there anything that you would like to add to that or encourage people about?
So anytime I join something, the biggest question, do I have the time? Do
Mm.
I have the time to do this? And what I love about this program is all the sessions are recorded. You can listen to them at any time. You have options on what days you can. So it's just a slot in my week, and if something comes up, I know I can view it that night or the next day. So
Mm.
I'm not missing anything. And then I can work at one of the things that I loved is, there's people in our group who, you know, they're very busy and they're only on lesson or module 2 or 3, and we're in the program for 6 months and they're beating
Yeah.
themselves up because they're behind, and it's okay. You're not
Right.
behind. You're at the
Right.
perfect spot. So, that was my hesitation, and I'm just pleasantly pleased that I can pace myself.
Yeah.
That's probably one of the nicer things about this, and it keeps me on track. Like I
Yeah.
know every week there is a class, so that
Yeah.
just keeps me on track, and it keeps me, reminding myself to do the meditations, to get involved, and I don't beat myself up if I miss a couple of days. It's okay. It's like, when I first started meditating, it was like, you sit there and you sit there, it's like you're constipated, right? Trying to get
Trying to
something
make it
done.
work, trying to get it
I
right.
know. And just let that go and give myself a break, and
It worked.
wow, I'm grounded.
And that is pretty consistent. We had Angie come on yesterday, Woolley, and she said something similar, like no judgment zone.
Yeah,
Where
yeah,
nope, there's no judgment. Your spirit's working with you. You're working with your spirit. It just depends on how you work with yourself. And everybody's unique and how they work with themselves. And that this program absolutely provides that platform for that.
absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, thank you so much, Sylvia. Is there anything else before we?
It's just that, I've learned how to ground and get rid of things or let go of things that don't serve my life.
Mm,
Um,
beautiful.
and when 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 you say you can talk to animals or talk to plants and people think you're crazy, they don't think you're crazy.
Right.
You're welcome,
That's
which is
true. It's like,
lovely, which is lovely.
oh, well,
So, no,
yeah,
it's
Sylvia,
good.
you just have such a bubbly personality and just so beautiful, and you're so clear. And I can just feel you're such a champion for not only the program and how much you love it, but a champion for your fellow students,
Yeah,
and your community and your group. And that's what it feels like. We're all contributing to uplifting each other, and that's the
yes,
best.
yes, yes.
Yeah. All right. Thank you so
Thank
much,
you.
Sylvia.
Thank you, Nancy, and thank you for the excellent work you're doing.
Oh, thank you.
Okay.
So everybody on YouTube, thank you so much for popping in and saying hello to Sylvia. We have about 25 people on, and we will end this here. I just want to let you know, Sylvia mentioned the Ask Me Anything several times, and I kept getting that little intuitive hit because it's really a highlight for the students. They love it, and I love it too. And so tomorrow I am going to go live again on Facebook and on YouTube. It's going to be Ask Me Anything. And so you'll get a chance to see what I do on the first Monday of every month. Ask Me Anything. So you'll get an example of what that's like. All right. Thanks again, Sylvia. I'm just going to close off. I'll have you stay with me as I end this. All right. Thanks again, everyone. Bye-bye.
Thank you.